Today's guest is an incredibly talented artist. He's been honored at the highest level in his native France and international competitions, and he showcased his work of arts on the heads of clients like supermodel Naomi Campbell, actress Uma Thurman, and fashion icon Karl Lagerfeld. Welcome to the podcast, Mr. Claude Baruk.
Thank you so much. What an honor to be with you tonight.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for the presentation.
Did you like that introduction?
Yeah, very
it
good.
Was good.
Yeah,
it's good. Stroke your ego a little bit.
Yeah,
it's okay.
That's great.
Okay,
Thank you
great.
so much. I'm happy to be with you tonight.
Absolutely. So, I just want to have a conversation with you.
Yes,
like
sure.
we've done many times before.
Yeah.
Perfect. So I met Claude through my friend Heather Jo Clark. I know she's been getting her hair done by you for some time.
Yes.
And she
She's
said,
a very good friend too. And
yes. She's a great friend of mine, fights in the UFC at 115 and did really great on The Ultimate Fighter. And so she introduced me to you. And she said, you have to have this guy get a hold of your hair. I said, okay. I was like, well, I have someone that does my hair here, but I'd love to come and see your guy. So I came in last year for the NASCAR Awards, and you did something phenomenal to my hair. I couldn't ever repeat it, and I think it probably took about 110 bobby pins because I have so much hair, but you were passionate about it, to say the least. And
It was a great time, I remember very well, and you have a very great hair, a lot of hair. It was a real good playground for me. It was very nice. I had a great time, and of course that came out very well, and you are very pretty, so I was very happy to do it. It was a big, nice inspiration for me. I really enjoyed the moment that we have together. I'm very happy that you liked. So I'm very, very happy.
I loved it. So I had my hair done, and it was kind of in this really pretty side messy bun with the sweeping bangs across the front. And it was done for the NASCAR Awards. I presented it on live television, so it had to be perfect. And I don't think there was anybody better in Vegas to do the job. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
So let's talk a little bit about your story. How did you decide that you wanted to be a hairstylist, and when did that come about?
So, I don't have any. I don't have a real souvenir. I remember at some point back in the day when I was younger, when I decided the day I was hairdresser, it's come up very naturally. I always been very, very interesting by the fashion. Everything was touched to fashion. Always been very, very inspirational for me and exciting for me. And I came up to the hair industry very naturally. So I was probably set up for that, and that's come up easy. I was 15 years old in France. The way how we can do after the middle school for you or something like that, it's not pretty the same. But around 15 years old, we can decide what we want to do. If you want to following the regular process to go to school and go to high school and college, or if you want to go directly to learn a job. And that was my passion.
And you knew at that point, at 15 years old, you had found your passion.
Yeah, and I celebrate this year's my 20 years anniversary. Last September 5th was my 20th anniversary in the business.
Wow!
So it's come up very. Thank you. That's I haven't seen those 20 years goes. You know what I mean? So it was
when you love what you do, I suppose time flies, huh?
Yeah. It's like I maybe never work in my life. Like, you know what I mean? You wake up every morning and you're happy to go to do what you want. So of course, my career was made by some up and some down because I was entrepreneur in South of France before I came here. And I take some risk. I love the challenge. And the hair industry, how I live my passions, I live it like you live your passions in the UFC. So you are full of challenge. You love the challenge. You love the competitions. It's exactly the same for me day after day. You know, my life is a challenge, you know, and always been a challenge when I was able to create my first own hair salon. And like when I decided to leave 34 years of my life in my back and jump to the United States with my family. And
So let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
So we are sitting inside your salon, in the Wynn.
Yeah.
Who you were personally invited over by Steve Wynn. Now, I'm talking about Mr. Wynn himself, the owner of this building.
Yeah.
And your salon is absolutely to die for. It's gorgeous. It's ultra modern. It's got a lot of mirrors, and it has beautiful chandeliers, and it's all cream and white colored, very clean looking, very, very beautiful. And it has this magnificent couch in the center of it that looks like it's covered in diamonds. It's just beautiful. Did you pick that couch?
Yeah, we picked that couch. It's a Swarovski's couch, so it's made with Swarovski diamonds all over the couch. Yeah.
Wow. So you say we? Do you mean Mr. Wynn and yourself?
Yeah, of course. Yes.
Great. So this is a collaboration between the two of you. So how did you meet Steve Wynn?
So I met Steve Wynn back in 2007 or 8, something like that. It was in Saint-Tropez. I was already on my business over there, my company. I got a few salons over there in south of France. And I was introduced to Mr. Wynn in Saint-Tropez. He asked for a hairdresser. And at that time, back in the day, my salon was the spot in Saint-Tropez. And when he asked to some of his friends, can you find for me a hairdresser in Saint-Tropez? And
said, we'll send you the best place around.
Yeah, exactly what's happened. And they called me immediately. They sent me a friend of mine called me and told me, Claude, we have a VIP here in Saint-Tropez with us, and he needs a hairdresser. We're going to come to the salon and introduce to him. He called Steve Wynn. At that time, I'm sorry, but
you didn't know who he was.
I didn't know who he was, and for the fun.
If I saw him, I probably wouldn't be able to pick him out and say, that's, Steve Wynn. I know the name, but I wouldn't.
And he came to my salon, and a very nice guy, and we had a great time, and he was, superb, magnifique rencontre, magnifique meeting, sorry. Sometimes I speak French, sorry. I switch with some French words, I'm sorry. So it was a very nice meeting, and we had a great time. I remember his questions was one of the first questions he asked for me. I will never forgot this moment. He said, hey, have you ever been to Vegas? What do you know about Vegas? Mm-hmm. I said, no, I never been. And I said, the only thing that I know is Bellagio, Mirage, and MGM. Mm-hmm. I say, how do you know those one? I say, because I love Ocean 11, the movie, and I've seen many times.
It's like a great movie, by the way.
Yeah, by the way, yeah. And he say, Mirage, Bellagio, I owns it.
So he told you he created that.
He created that.
And what did you think at that moment? Did your jaw hit the floor? Or were you thinking he was serious?
No, of course I think he was serious, because in Saint-Tropez we used to meet big personality all around the world, you know what I mean? And
I just feel like that'd be such a crazy bomb.
Yeah.
I made
and
that.
For me it was good. I was very happy, but it wasn't as a VIP, another high profile that I have in my salon. I have many high profile by the past, like Naomi Campbell, Karl Lagerfeld, or a lot of very high profile person, you know what I mean? I was just honored to have him with me, and I remember the night after that, in France, when we finished the work, we always going to have a drink before come back home, and in Saint-Tropez we have a nice spot with all the boat where we join all the friends to have a drink, glass of champagne or wine.
On the water,
of course. And I said to some of my friends, hey guys, have you ever heard about Steve Wynn? And all of them say, what? Steve Wynn? Of course, he's the guy who created Las Vegas.
Yes.
I got him in my salon. Oh, no way. I've been to one of his hotels. He opened the Wynn Hotel now, and he's wonderful and stuff. And it's the way how I start to understand who was really Steve, And from there, at that time, Steve called me again a few days after to continue he needs hair again or some stuff like that. And every year, until 2012, every year I was so happy to meet him, and he was coming back.
And you met him what year?
28, I think. 28, 27 or 28 it was. Yeah.
2007 or 2008?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And every year he's coming back like a regular guest, like I have, in Saint-Tropez. And every year we was happy to meet him. And I was invited on his boat, sometimes to make his hair, or sometimes he came to my salon. And I know Andrea Wynn, his wife. So she's a very nice lady. And I started to do the hair of Andrea Wynn back in 20, you know what I mean? So a long time before I met Steve, and I know her so as well. She's a wonderful lady, and they come together every year. It was a great time, and my wife, my kids, and
So he keeps coming back every year.
Yeah.
So when does the conversation come up? I mean, did he just have an idea one day and he said, "Why don't you pack everything you own up, close your salon, or I don't know, maybe keep it open, but leave your salon, come to the United States, and start a hair salon in my newest, most grand hotel and casino."
So that came up in 2012, summer 2012. At that time, I got 2 salons in Saint-Tropez. One that I run, and the other one was running by my wife. And he went to the salon where my wife was to get a pedicure, manicure, and stuff to get his nails. And he was speaking with my wife. They were speaking. And my wife called me, and I was in the main salon that we had together. And she told me, "Claude, you have to come immediately now at the salon here." I said to my wife, "Darling, the salon here is busy. If I leave the salon, the client's going to burn me. They were going to kill me."
The clients.
I'm
They're going to
so
come
busy.
after you with torches, hey.
Yeah. It's 6
6
p.m. In the afternoon in Saint-Tropez is when everybody come to prepare for the party, for the night. And she told me, "Claude, you have to come because Steve going to propose you your dream." And I immediately understood, because my wife know that my dream was always been to come and live in the United States and have a chance to express my work here, to showcase my work in the United States. That was the ultimate.
Since 15, this was your dream.
Oh yeah,
or maybe even
no,
before?
No, since 15.
Since 15.
I grew up in the family where we was very American feeling, you know what I mean? So America from my father, from my mother, from my brother, we always loved, you know what I mean? So for me, it was a dream quickly to come in the United States, and have a chance. When I've seen many TV show in France who talking about some French people who came here and get the glory,
the
and
American
get the success,
dream.
the American dream, you know. And Rocky Balboa, my favorite box athlete ever.
Have you seen the new Creed movie?
I love it, by the way.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. No spoilers.
It's incredible.
Is it incredible?
It's incredible.
I'm going to see it this week.
It's very good, you know what I mean? And I already seen 2 times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
wow. You're not the first person to tell me that. There's actually a few other people that said.
I'm a real fan. So, all those kind of things, I always live in this feeling, you know what I mean? So when he asked to my wife, when they were speaking about life to my wife, and my wife, they were speaking, and he said to my wife, "Why Claude never asked me to come to work with me?" And she just said, "Because Claude never asked anything. He knows that you know the biggest hairdresser in the world, and you travel all around the world. If you want him, you're going to ask him. And if you don't ask for him, it's because you know and you don't need." I say, I want him. I have a big idea. He's the guy that I need. And he called me, so I got my wife on the phone, and she told me, "Claude, you have to come because he want to propose you the dream that you're ever waiting for." And he picked up the phone. He said, "Claude."
So did you leave your salon? I have to know at 6 o'clock.
No,
high time.
I didn't leave the salon because
so
probably.
you finished your day of work.
Yeah.
And
He take the phone. He take the phone. And say, "Claude, join me tonight at the restaurant. I go in this restaurant in Saint-Tropez. Come to join me tonight. We're gonna speak together. I have 2 salons in my hotel at the Wynn and Encore. I want to create a partnership with you. I want your brand be with me here at the Wynn and Encore in Las Vegas." I was, I flip out. You know what I mean? I was completely in the sky. You know what I mean? I jump over the cloud in the sky. I was.
Excited.
So exciting. So I went to see him. He said, "Claude, we're going to be very easy. It's the end of September. I know you're still working and still the season in Saint-Tropez. Come as soon as possible. Take your wife, take your kid, and I invite you to the Wynn whenever you want. The week after, if you want to know the true story, the week after, I was with my wife at home, and I say, darling, we need to take the flight ticket and going to see Steve. And my wife told me, we're going to go in November. We still have some work here in Saint-Tropez. I say, September is okay. We make the hardest part of the job. We can go now. She told me, okay, send a text to Steve and Andrea and tell them what they want to see us. I said, okay. I sent a text to Andrea, I remember very well. I say, hey, Andrea, Steve, I hope you're well. I hope your trip back was good to Las Vegas. We have some time to come in September, October, or November. When are you going to be able?
What month is it now? What month was it?
It was end of August.
Okay, end of August.
So
you're ready to go.
We're ready to go. You know, me, he told me that. I jump on it, you know. And she responds me back in the minute, say, as soon as possible. I say, tomorrow we take a flight ticket. I think
I love it.
3-4 days after.
Spontaneous.
3-4 days after we was on the plane and we landing to Vegas. You know what I mean? And from there, we immediately understood that something happened because Steve, of course, received us like a
king and a queen, or
king and queen. You know what I mean? We got the rolls of the Wynn, we got the limousine where we want to go, the ticket for the show. We have a nice room and everything taken care for the kid. And we stay here 10 days. We even seen some house immediately, see the Summerlin neighborhood, Anderson.
See where the salon was anticipated to be.
We spied the salon just to see how it was, you know what I mean? And if I was okay, we talk about business. And of course, when Steve wants something, and it was easy for me because, you know, Steve is like a father figure for me, you know what I mean? It was easy. I knew him before, you know what I mean? And for me, it was okay. You have a title shot. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He's here. He's with him. He's one of the highest profile in the United States. He's the biggest hotel to Vegas. It's a challenge for you. You know, I was in France. My life was set up very well. I got my salon was successful and my kids, my house. But it was too early for me to be set up and be relaxed, you know, and waiting my retirement. You know what I mean? It was too early. And I said, let's have a challenge. And let's have this title shot. For me, was that like that, you know what I mean?
So how long did it take you to move after
6 months.
That? 6 months.
So that was in September 2012, and we're landing here, and we're landing here in March 2013. So 6 months after I was done.
Wow. Did you close the 2 salons in France, or are they still open?
Not on the moment. I keep the salon for a while, and from there I found a deal to finish with my salon over there. And now I'm completely dedicated 100% to the Wynn here in Vegas. We're going to open a Claude Baruk salon in China for the new Wynn Palace in Cotai.
Oh, great. I've been hearing about that.
Yeah, we opened that in June 2016, so in 6 months. So we work a lot on this project. It's a huge project, very interesting. And we're going to have another one in Boston for the new hotel casino that Steve Wynn going to open in Boston probably in I don't know exactly what date, but a few years from now, yeah.
That's amazing. You know, I can't stop looking at that couch every time I can you tell me how much it is? How much was that couch?
It's roughly around $100K from what I've heard. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's really, truly.
It's truly amazing coach, you know, and
I'm almost scared to sit on it.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
You can. It's a good coach. You can sit on it. It's good. And people like it. Many guests take pictures of it or love to take a picture when they sit on it. You know, they love. And
did you design this salon yourself?
Yes, with Steve together. And Roger Thomas. Roger Thomas is the designer of Steve.
Okay.
He worked with Steve since 30, 40 years ago. He made Golden Nuggets, Mirage, Treasure Island, Bellagio, Encore, and Wynn for Steve, and as well the other property in China. So I was very honored to work with a designer, world class designer like Rogers. He made a tremendous work, and with Steve we work together. And of course we do the lineup because the salon, for the people who went here before, or for the people who've never been here, is 1000% completely different. We changed everything. We broke everything from the floor to the ceiling. Everything is changed. We changed the layout of the salon. We changed every single pieces was there. Is nothing compared. We create those windows now from where we are sit now on the manicure section. We have the windows with the view on the pool. So it's that's create a incredible light. Daylight inside the salon.
Yes,
that wasn't exist before. So we have broke the wall and create the new windows to have a view on the pool. So it was a huge work that we've made, and Roger Stoma drove those work like a master. You know what I mean? And I remember when we worked with Steve, it was in just before we started to make the renovation. We were speaking about the layout and how we're going to create the salon, the concept, and all the stuff. I was very honored because Steve gave me a carte blanche, and everything he taught me in 2012, he made it. You know what I mean? That's very extraordinary. You know, and we work 4 or 5 hours in the row to redesign the salon, to see where we're going to put the manicure, where we're going to put the hairstylist, where's going to be the barber shop, where's going to be the pedicure sections.
Was it amazing to see your dream coming to fruition, like really coming to life?
And you know, and seeing that with the perspective, with the view of Steve Wynn. And I truly learned in 4 hours like I learned in 20 years of my career in just 4 hours. Just big business with Steve, 4 hours. Just lay out the salon and stuff like that. The way how everything was thought for the guest experience. So when we work with Steve, everything is about the guest experience, guest relations, guest experience. And when we see the business like that, it's changed everything. And I learned in one afternoon with Steve more than I have ever learned in 20 years of career.
So what is it about hair that you love so much? I mean, obviously it's not just hair. I mean, is it making someone feel good when they leave your salon? You know that you've given them a sense of self-fulfillment. I mean, you are really an incredible entrepreneur, honestly, and it's amazing. You walk down the corridor and you see Claude Baruk and you see your picture and this beautiful salon behind you, and so much passion when you walk into this salon. It's just amazing, the energy that's in here when everybody's moving and hustling, but it's so friendly, it's so clean, it's so pretty, so aesthetically appealing. But for you, I mean, why is it hair? What is it about that for you that makes it so fun?
So I have two parts of my in my heart, the way how I handle my career is truly two parts: the entrepreneur part and the artistic part. And the both at one point that we made here, the both are combined, because at the end, what I like, of course, for the artistic side of my job, what I like the most, it's like a drug for me, is when the clients take me in their arms and make a big kiss and hug, and say, "Claude, thank you so much. I love what I have. You understood me. You listened to me and you understood me, and I'm feel so well." That is good. Give to the clients happiness. That is what I really like. And here at the Wynn, they also like the experience that they have here, because the team is so good. I have 100 people who work here almost. Manicurist, nail technicians, barber, hairdresser, makeup artist, assistant, managers, receptionist. Is a lot of work, it's a lot of people, and they are all trans, and we are all a family, and we all have the same, and we create this culture, you know what I mean, inside the salon. Or what is very important is make whole people happy, you know what I mean.
How do you pick the people that work for you?
Lot of them was here before I came, and I really appreciate them when I'm arrived and I say, "Oh, that is good. That is good," because I have already people
a base
that
to
I
work
like.
with.
Yeah, and of course we have some new people come to join our team, and how we recruiting. So like. Is all through by a process, you know what I mean? And if you go to the end of the process, you go to work here, you go on the floor and be in contact with our clients. But it's a whole through process.
And they have to have great people skills and
skills, of course, training, you know. And sometimes, you know, sometimes it's also about personality. It's about personality. And what we love as well is that who hairdresser have a personality. And what I'm really like is to have, when I have 25 hairdresser, I have 25 different personality. And that for me is very important. It's the best way to please the maximum of clients, you know. And I love personality. Or sometimes I can have somebody who jump into my salon and make an auditions. I see some difficulty in the auditions, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I really think that these people have she's a nice personality, nice heart, eager to learn. Are we going to take her? Mm-hmm. Because anyway, we have a long training process, and with my technique and everything that I teach to all my team, I need a nice personality. And after I take care about the skills for artistic skills, are we going to train them and that we're going to be so good? And I have already, that's also a good part, nice part of my job when I see some people went through a process and they grow with me and I see them become more and more free in their life here with us and they increase, they improve a lot their skills and I love that too. I love also take care about the team. You know, it's very important to take care about your team. If you want your team to take care about your clients, you need to take care about your team first.
Absolutely.
And
it's called synergy. All those energies coming together for a positive cause.
I try to take care like a papa, like a daddy, you know what I mean? and always there for them, you know, and give them what they need to be relaxed, to be able to give the best of their self in the clients, you know.
So I have a question. Let's back up to your first salons that you had.
Yeah.
Okay. Was that scary to start your own business? I mean, or is that really, did you work for someone else at first and then you decided that you wanted to have your own salon?
Of course, I have worked for somebody before. I decided to, I opened my first salon in 2003. I started to work for me in 2003 as a freelance hairdresser, and I opened my own salon in 2005. Of course, it was very stressful. It was a big challenge because at that time I didn't have the money to open it. So I get a loan. And I get a loan, a very short loan, you know what I mean? And it wasn't by the bank, you know, it was more by the vendor who give me some money or friends, or you know what I mean? And
that's almost more pressure, isn't it?
It's much more pressure because
you want to be successful for them.
So I remember I opened in December 25, and I get loans for a couple of $1,000, was big. And I was a few months to refund half part of the people who gave me some money. And finally, I refund everybody. And finally, I get a bank and some other people who loaned me some money in 6 months after to open another salon. So that was good. That was great. So
was it really scary though?
It was very scary. Yeah, it was very scary. But I love those. I love to fight my fear. So if I'm scared,
that's probably a good thing.
It's probably something that I'm going to be. Yeah, that's something that's going to challenge me. So
as an entrepreneur, you think fear is a good thing when you're a little bit scared or intimidated to do something?
I don't know if it's a good thing. It's depending on each people. You know, sometimes fear. Some people with a fear lost their power. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Lost their strength. for me personally, it's helped me. I don't know for everybody. I don't want to talk for every entrepreneur, but for me to get this pressure on, and be a little bit scared, it's allowed me to stay always focused. You know what I mean? And
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's important to let people know if they're trying to pursue their passion that there's probably going to be a time when it's time to make a decision, or it's going to be a little bit scary, or you're going to feel like, oh, am I doing this right? But I think the biggest thing is to make the decision, whether it's scary or not, to go for it.
And sometimes some people, I have 36 years old, and sometimes some people tell me, how you have all those things at 36 people, or how you came here, how you came up here. And I want to tell, because I make so many mistakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nothing was already good. And I finally, when I opened my first shop, I get some loan, I refund the money that people loan me, and I get a lot of pressure and stuff. But on top of that, I made also some mistake too. You know what I mean? And I made so many mistakes.
What was the mistake, like a monumental mistake that you can think of that you really learned something and you thought maybe you were better for it or stronger?
So, I born in the city in south of France called Avignon. I'm a kid of Avignon, south of France. I live and grows over there. Family was over there. Friends was over there. And I left at 19 years old to start to work in Saint-Tropez and Courchevel, the two resorts that I was working over there. Courchevel is a ski resort in south of France, very high level like Aspen that you have here in the United States. Mm-hmm. And Saint-Tropez is a summer resort, very high profile too. And I was working 6 months of each, and I got 2 salons each city. So... And my salon was success. I opened the first one in December 25, the second one in June 26. I was doing everything's very great. I was making a lot of money. And just by ego, I decided to open a salon in my hometown, Avignon, called Avignon, where I born. And... I did this thing just by ego, and that was my biggest mistake. But also is the best thing that's happened in my career. Would teach me a lot of things. That teach me a lot. I opened this salon just to make my parents being proud of me. You know what I mean? Being recognized. I come from a very middle class. You know what I mean? And I want that my parents be work with the heads up, you know what I mean? Instead of in my hometown, and I want to impress all the people that with I grew up, and all the people who was my enemy during my teenager years and stuff, or you know what I mean? I just made that by ego, and I spent a lot of money. And of course, I wasn't there many times because I was more in Saint-Tropez, where my main business was, and of course, I lose a lot of money. You know what I mean? Because I just and I make something too nice. I make something
that didn't maybe fit the.
It wasn't fit for this town. It was just a regular town. You know what I mean? And it wasn't fit. And I spent too much money to make that spankable. You know what I mean? I spend the money like I was in Saint-Tropez, where I have a high level of clientele. You know what I mean? And Avignon is a middle class town. And I spent too much money. I put the floor too much expensive, and everything was. So the business plan wasn't good. The business plan wasn't fit for this. But I just made that just say, hey, look at me. I have 2 salons in Saint-Tropez, in Courchevel, the best place in France. I come back and I'm there. And that was my biggest mistake. And that was a big mistake that I made. But
so it didn't do well?
No, it didn't do well.
How long did you have it open for?
I got this salon open for 3-4 years. Then I sell it. Finally, I lost a bit of money, but it wasn't dramatic like it was supposed to be, but it was very hard to handle. I got so many problems in the salon. And when I sold it, it was a big relief for me. Even if I lose a bit of money, but it was just a big relief. I sold it in 2010 or something like that, 2010. But drive your life by the ego.
Not a good idea.
Not a good idea. And I really think this experience was very good for me.
So how do you stay humble in all of this?
I don't know if I am ready. Maybe yes, maybe not. I don't know. I try because this story that I just told you now, that I just,
because of that learning experience,
I think this one was the biggest learn of my career, you know. And I have my kids. I have my wife at home. You know what I mean.
How many kids do you have?
I have 2 kids, 2 girls.
How old?
5 years old for Victoria, and 17 months for Andrea, the baby one.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you. And she's American. She's born here. She's American. So I'm very proud of her. My 2 girls. The big one goes to the school already. She speaks English much better than me, with a real American accent. You know what I mean? She can sometimes.
Does she tease you yet?
Of course. You know, sometimes she speaks too fast and I don't understand.
Does she speak French?
Yeah, she speaks French too.
That's
and she speaks fluently the both, so that's great.
I'm so jealous. I wish that I could have been raised in a bilingual house. I always did, because growing up, it's just easier, I suppose, when you have them both there. You just learn it.
And it's so amazing, because when we arrived here, she was 2.5, and she was just speaking French very well. And even the first when she started go to school, she wasn't able to barely speak one word, so to understand one word with the teachers. They told us, don't worry, it's about few months. You're going to be impressed. And day after day,
wow,
that's happened. And one day, we was with some friends at home, and the friends was speaking English, and Victoria responds in French. Response by us at me in French.
Or response to you in French.
Yeah, like this, the people who were speaking English doesn't understand.
Oh, smart.
She was 3.5 at that time.
Nice.
Or something like that. And I was so amazed. A lot of things like that, that's make good things. And just for that, my move in the US is a success. And
Do you speak English at home or French?
French.
French,
because we want the kids keep speaking French.
Yeah.
Because we don't want them to be cut about the family. We go back in French in the summer, or when the family come here with the grandparents and cousins and stuff. It's very important for them to keep the link, you know, and keep the contact.
Do you speak any other languages?
No.
Just French and English?
Just French and English.
I say just French and English.
so that's
only.
Only, but that's great. So that's my family is probably my point of stay cool, stay relaxed, try to stay humble, calm me down. And by the way, I'm a very exciting guy, you know what I mean? I've always been I have big temper, you know, and I'm very exciting all the time. I want to control my nerve all the time, and I find something here, you're going to like it. It's like a therapy for me.
To do hair is?
No.
Or to be here?
To be here and to absorb all the stress and stay humble, absorb the stress, absorb everything. Help me a lot day after day to drive my life correctly, and handle the pressure. And I find the best therapy in the world. You're really going to like it.
Were you scared at all when Steve said, hey, come over here and open this salon? Were you thinking, gosh, I hope that I can live up to everything that, you know, someone as amazing as Steve Wynn would expect? Or did that ever cross your mind? Or did you just know it was going to be successful before you even opened the doors?
I don't think about fail, you know what I mean? But I think it's a challenge. I never think about fail, but I never thought it was win before it was okay before I came. I always say it's going to be a big challenge. It's going to be a big challenge. Is not easy, and I have to be very careful because nobody was waiting for me here before I came. And you need to do your proof. You know, you need to prove that you're not a fraud. You know what I mean? You're here for a real reason. And if Steve take you and also everybody knows that Steve take the best of everything for his hotel, you know what I mean? It's a lot of pressure on the shoulders, but I love that. As I told you, the fear.
You thrive off of that.
Yeah. I think the the scare could be, I knew Steve before. He put a lot of hopes on my shoulder. That's honor me. That's make me so proud. And I think, the way to disappoint him, or maybe one day tell you, hey, he was wrong, it's the wrong idea or something like that. That was probably scary, but I never thought about that. I thought maybe this, but I switched that off my mind quickly. And I never think it's going to be easy, and no matter what, I'm going to make it. But I never thought I'm going to fail or something like that. And I prepare myself. My biggest enemy is me. You know what I mean? So stay humble and handle the pressure. You know what I mean? Because it's not easy, manage 100 people and be partner with one of the biggest corporation in town and in the US as well, And but I love it. I love the people that I learn a lot. I love it. It's very challenging. You know what I mean? I always have something to fight. If I move from France, sometimes people say, did you move from France? Saint-Tropez is so nice. Mm-hmm. But I never have a fight anymore over there. You know what I mean?
You outgrew it.
Yeah.
How do you keep things challenging here for yourself? I mean, to me, it looks like this place is just perfect that it wouldn't have, but what are your challenges and how do you keep yourself?
No, I want to tell you something, the easiest part of my work has been done. Now I'm in the hardest part of the work. For me, create the salon, lead the team, create a new protocol, create the marketing, lay out the new salon. All these 2 years, the last 2 years that we have to create those things, for me, it wasn't the hardest part of the job. But when you get the success, stay on the top. It's much more harder,
They say it's easier to get here than it's harder to
sometimes
stay there.
I'm sure it's easy to be the champ.
It's
harder to stay the champ. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And is exactly how boxing is one of my favorite sports. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And
I know you're a follower of MMA. Yeah. Also.
Yeah, and that's. I think this sport is life. You know what I mean? This sport is life. So you get the belt, and you need to keep the belt. And when you get the belt, is where is hard. Not because the opponent is harder or stronger. It's just because your mind can flip out in 2 minutes. Success, people, and you know what I mean. And you can believe in yourself too much, and from there, you know what I mean. You wasting time.
You can be your own downfall sometimes.
I think I'm my own enemy. If one day here something's wrong, it's because of me. You know what I mean. If I'm stay focused and handle depression, because you're gonna like that. I doing MMA for amateur. You know what I mean? Amateur. I train 3 to 5 times a week.
Still, I remember we were talking about this last.
Yeah, still,
love it.
3 to 5 times a week. I love it. I never get this chance in France to do MMA. It's not legal over there, and we don't have so many good gym like we have in Vegas. And when I arrive here, I say, hey, I never fought in my life. I never did box or MMA or something. Let's take a coach. And I have a private coach, and every morning, 3-5 times a week, head to head, just him and me. He teach me, and I love this. I follow MMA.
Are you ever going to take a fight?
I told you earlier in the conversation that I love to fight my fear.
Yes.
Being in the cage, I'm sure, is very scary. That's make me scared. So that's mean probably. I love it. Probably, if my coach told me one day that I'm ready to do an amateur fight to start like that, and
you should do it one time, because it's just something you can never recreate, no matter how many times you spar in the gym.
And I spoke with some friends amateur that told me the first fight you do in your life, it's something that you will never gonna forget. It's an experience that is absolutely indescribable. You know what I mean? And that's exciting me a lot. I don't know if I'm still yet ready or not, but I'm working a lot. That is my therapy for absorb all the pressure and stuff. I love is my moment. You know what I mean? Is before I go to work, I go to the gym every morning, 8 to 9 before I come to the salon. I'm feel so good for until the day, you know. And if I'm,
it's a good release.
Yeah,
right?
it's my release, you know. That's so good. And after, let's see, I'm gonna turn 37 soon. Mm-hmm. If I have to do a fight, I think I should
do it sooner than later.
Sooner than later, you know what I mean? But it's make me scary. And as you say, I love the scare. I love fit my scare. I love fit my fair. You know what I mean? Fight my fair.
Yeah.
To come in the US, it was a big, you know, when you move with your wife and your kids, you change their life as well. You know what I mean? You change your life, and you don't have, no matter what, you don't have choice to fail, you know, and you don't want to fail. You're scared. And I fight this scare. I did as well skydiving many times.
Yeah.
I was scared, but it was like an adventure, and I made it one time, and then I make it many times.
Has your wife ever gone skydiving?
No, she never made. No.
So Brian and I went skydiving once in Hawaii, just one time. And I'm scared of heights too, a little bit, but I'm one of those people that's like, okay, even if I'm scared of it, sort of like you, that's like the more thrill of it. So I'm going to do it. You know, I'm scared the crap out of myself, but I'm going to do it. Well, we were in this little tiny plane, and he goes off first, and he's, you know, has someone strapped to his back, and he has his arms crossed, and he's like breathing, you know, before they're about to jump off. And I'm too busy laughing at him to even realize that I'm about to go too, you know. And so he jumps off, and I'm just dying laughing at him. Watch his face before he went. And then I was like, oh no, it's my turn, you know. And then it was like immediate change of emotion. It was like, it was laughing and dying at him. And then I had to jump out too. But it was like quite an experience.
I made it 3 times.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy it.
Do you do it around here in Vegas?
No, I made it in France.
Oh, in France.
I made it in France before I came. And it's a long time ago. It's a couple of years ago. I made it in France, and I really like it. It's like an adventure, you know. The first time was so scary. It went so fast because with the scare, you don't
close your eyes. Almost
not even if you don't close your eyes, it goes too fast. And I said, okay, I want to do another time. Second time, I have thousands more scared than the first time.
Really?
Because the first time when I was in the plane, I said, what the heck I'm doing here again? Why am I doing this after I know? Why I'm so stupid to come back in this plane again? You know, when you already have one big scare and you jump again, and the second time you have time to see everything is slower. Everything is much more slower. So you have time to think more, and you scare much more. You know what I mean? And I jump another time. But the second time, as soon as you're in the air, you jump off the plane, the scare left, and you enjoy it, and that you like, and I think you're good. And I step down. I say, we go another time, third time. And I say, third time. Because the guy who was doing that, he was in France. He was a friend of mine, and he was doing that in Courchevel every year. And I said, I want to do a third time, but now we're going to go out of the plane, but in the back, you know what I mean, back flip.
Oh.
Instead to jump by the front, we jump by the back. And, you know, and he told me, you're crazy. I like that. We're going to do it. And I make it. And I even have that in the video. When I show the video to my mother, I say, okay, don't worry. I'm here. I'm not dead. I'm not dead. You know what I mean? She was crying, saying, why are you crying? I'm not dead.
You're like, this already happened. Don't worry.
This already happened. Don't worry. I'm not gonna
Did she tell you don't go a fourth time?
Yeah. No, stop. But after I never gonna have time, and you know, it was just for fun and stuff. But that was a good story. My mother was crying and say, why are you crying? I'm not dead. I'm here. I'm gonna show you the video. It's already done. It was 2-3 weeks ago. You know what I mean? So
that's typical mom, though, right?
Yeah. So that was good.
Does your family get to come and visit you much here?
They came, my parents came, the family of my wife as well, so my brother came as well, so I love them to come here. We came back to France as well for vacation in summer. I'm a big fan of Saint-Tropez, you know. I need to have my little few weeks over there at least, and it's a very good city. If you've never been over there, you should really try one day with Brian. You know, it's so good.
I've only been to Paris.
Paris is good too. Paris is, Paris is a very nice city. I love Paris.
And we went over Valentine's Day, and we took one of the boat rides down
the Seine.
Yeah. And we got to see all the sights and had dinner on it, and it was really a fantastic experience. I love the Lock Bridge.
Yeah.
With all the locks on it. And that was really neat. I liked it. It was very pretty.
I hope one day they were going to legalize some MMA fight there. And
that's actually what I was there to do, was to kind of help petition for that. Yeah.
But from what I've heard lately, still hard. Some politicians over there, they're very hard to move. We have a new election in 2 years. Maybe if we change presidents, maybe something's going to be better. But so far, it looks like he's locked up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's sad. It's very sad. But yeah.
Well, everything changes with time. So.
Yeah, everything changing with time. Of course.
Exactly. So I guess in closing, I kind of want to ask you, what would your advice be to someone who wants to be an entrepreneur, maybe in whatever their field is? They want to follow their passion. What is your advice to someone along their way to success, or how to get there?
First of all, don't let your scare drive yourself. Okay, it's much better to live with one regret that's to live with the feeling that why I never try. You know what I mean?
Oh, I couldn't agree more.
You know what I mean? So, and don't listen people around you, because that's human. That's human being. You ask to people, what do you think? I think I'm going to do this or this or this. Some people we're gonna tell you what you want to hear, but some people they we're gonna tell you what you don't want to hear. And just believe in your heart, believe in your brand. You know what I mean? In your what you think, what you believe. That's the first thing. Believe in yourself, and don't be scared to fail. So and fail is not. It's not a shame, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You're not dead because you fail, you know what I mean? So don't be scared to fail. And sometimes we come back stronger after a fail, you know what I mean? And
I've been there.
Yeah.
Many times. I've been there, fell flat on my face in front of the whole world, but it's the learning experience, and I think you couldn't have said it better. I mean, it's the kind of person you are to pick yourself up from that.
If I have to fail, I prefer to say I failed because myself, or I failed because somebody else. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Don't let people drive your life. Don't let people drive your hopes, drive your dream, drive you simply. You know what I mean? So that's the first thing for the entrepreneur. When you go through this and you understood this, after is a lot of rules, you know what I mean? Just after you know your passions, you know what you want to do, and just make sure you invest in the right moment, in the right place. You invest the right money, and of course, something like that. That's the kind of advice that I want to give to people. Yeah,
that was great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Claude. It was really,
for me.
Really a pleasure, and just nice getting to know you a little bit better.
Thank you so much. I had a very great time with you. Mm-hmm. I wish you all the best for the future.
Yeah.
I'm one of your big fan and support now,
Thank you.
And
if you need some tips on
sure.
MMA,
we're gonna do some stuff.
As long as after you fix my hair.
Yeah, no problem. So I'm sure one day we're gonna have fun, and we're gonna come to play and get some tips and stuff like that. It could be great.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You have to recommend some good shampoo and conditioner for me.
This
Vegas weather's drying my hair out.
I know. I have a lot of stuff here. We're gonna give you what you want.